We all know that social proof is one of the most important factors when it comes to making a purchasing decision. And now with BDOW, you can add real-time social proof straight to your website. It's one of the best ways to boost conversions, whether it's for an opt-in, a launch, or your e-commerce shop. And yes, that's right, with BDOW, you can add a live activity social proof pop-up right to your website, turning your website into a FOMO generating machine. Hang around to see step-by-step how you can get this conversion boosting pop-up added to your website. But before we get started, if you're interested in starting a BDOW account, you can do so using the code PROOF, and that will get you 20% off your first year. All right, first things first, you're going to want to head over to BDOW.com and log into your account. Now, while you're getting logged into your account, I want to show you examples of two different types of social proof campaigns that you can set up on your website. And we're going to review how to set up each of these campaigns in this tutorial here. The first option is using BDOW forms on your website to power the social proof campaign. So if you have a BDOW form on your website, you can use the data from that form to power the social proof campaign that you see here in the bottom left-hand corner. The other option is using something like Zapier to wire up any third-party tool that integrates with Zapier to your BDOW social proof pop-up. So this is an example of a WooCommerce shop. And so when somebody purchases from this WooCommerce shop, that data is used to power this social proof pop-up here. Now, in order to set this up, what we're going to do is go into our BDOW account. You can see I've already navigated to campaigns here. The first type of social proof campaign that I'm going to show you how to set up is this sort of social proof campaign where you're using BDOW as the data source for the social proof campaign. So you're not going to want to create a new campaign quite yet. The first thing you're actually going to want to do is head over to Contacts and create a new group. So you just go to Contacts and then Groups and then hit Create Group. I already have a group created, so I'm not going to go through this step, but what you do is you give your group a name and then you'd hit Save Group. So once you've done that, you can head back over to Campaigns here and you can hit Create New Campaign. I'm going to use this social proof campaign as an example so that you don't have to watch me go through all of the design steps. So I'm going to click into this campaign. Everybody else, though, like I said, is going to hit Create New Campaign. And the first step you're going to land on is the goal step. You're going to want to select Display Social Proof. And then after that, you're going to want to select your event source. Now, this is what I was talking about as I showed you these two different examples. The event source that I'm showing you here is BDOW, all right? So it is the form on this page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select lead source for my pop-up data. And again, you can see that once we get to Zapier here, once we get to that demonstration, I will select Zapier. We're always working on new integrations, so if you have an integration request, be sure to send that to us at help@bdow.com. Now, in the lead source, you're going to select that group. And the reason that we tie social proof to groups and not forms is that way you can use the data from multiple forms to power a social proof pop-up. So for instance, let's say I had multiple pages where I am promoting this lead magnet. I could use all the forms associated with this lead magnet to power my social proof pop-up. So I've selected my group here, and I'm going to move on to design. You're going to go ahead and design your social proof pop-up. We have a number of variables that you can choose from here, from name, location, and time since. Time since gives you this look here. So if I refresh this page, or I don't have to, you can see Lisa from Chicago downloaded the templates about 21 hours ago. You don't have to use the variables as you set up your social proof pop-up, but they're there if you want them. The title line corresponds to this first line, the body line corresponds to the second line, and the footer line corresponds to the third line. Then I'm going to go here to settings. Now, these are the settings that are associated with the social proof pop-up. I'm going to choose a max pop-ups per session. I like to choose 25. This is going to be the delay between the pop-ups. So you can see there's about 3 seconds before a new pop-up rotates in. And then 5 seconds for the pop-up to actually display. These are my favorite pop-up behavior settings, but you can of course choose your own. You can also select the option to hide when closed. That means that when the social proof pop-up is hidden, it will never appear for that user regardless of what the display rules specify. And we're going to get to the display rules here in a minute. And then there's the yield tech option. We highly recommend that you keep this on for performance reasons. Now we're going to go to visibility. Now, you can choose the screen placement, so where the social proof pop-up shows up, whether it's the bottom left-hand corner, the top left-hand corner, top right-hand corner, or bottom right-hand corner. And then when it displays. You can see ours is set to display on a timer, so we have timed showed here. You could also do scroll depth so that when people scroll a certain amount of the page, it starts to appear. This might be better for something like a sales page where users are more likely to scroll down the page, whereas a page like this is relatively short, which is why we have it on a timer. And you can see that the first pop-up should show after 1 second, and we have it set always to show. Now, the display rules is where we want, or what pages on our website we want the pop-up to appear. There are all sorts of different rules that you can add. You can see that we want it added to this page specifically, so we've added that page. But when it comes to display rules, there are a number of different options here. This is part of the power of BDOW. We have a YouTube tutorial on display rules that I highly recommend checking out. Now, once all of that is done, you're going to go ahead and hit update. Now, you've created the social proof campaign. Now, let's say you haven't created the form yet that powers that social proof campaign. That's the next thing that you're going to want to go ahead and set up. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find this form. All right, so I found it right here. And you're going to see that I've set this up just like I would set up any other form in BDOW. Gone through the design steps here. I've gone through visibility. Now, the success step is something that you're going to want to note. This is where you take data from a form and you select the group that you want to send those subscribers off to. So in this form setup here, you can see that we are adding subscribers to the Canva font guide download. And that group is the group that we were using to power our social proof campaign. So you want to make sure that whatever form or forms you're using to power your social proof campaign, that you're adding subscribers to that group that is being used as the data source. So just as a reminder, again, this is the group that subscribers who complete this form on this page go to. And in the social proof campaign, if we navigate back to that, that is what's being used as the lead source here. So once you have all of that set up, then your social proof campaign should start to work. Now keep in mind that your social proof campaign won't use historical data. So it will only be powered by people who subscribe after you've set up the social proof campaign. Now let's talk about adding a social proof campaign that's using data from a third-party integration. The way you're going to do that is you're going to use Zapier to set up that connection. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set up your social proof campaign first. So if we come back here to our campaigns list, we're going to find the social proof campaign that's associated with our shop. We have a lot of different campaigns set up here. So you can see shop purchases here. And we're going to want to go through those same steps. We're going to want to select display social proof. Then as an event source, we're going to want to select Zapier. Nothing to do here yet. We're going to come down here to design. We're going to design our social proof pop-up. We're going to select the settings that we want to select. You can see that I use the same settings across all my social proof campaigns. And then visibility here. And you can see we have a number of different display rules here because we don't only want it to show up on the shop page, we also want to show it on all of the product pages as well. So this is all set up and we're going to hit update. Now you have to create your social proof campaign in BDOW before you go and wire it up in Zapier. Otherwise, you won't be able to set things up in Zapier. So when I go to Zapier, I'm going to create a new Zap. Now, in this case, I want to use WooCommerce as our trigger. So you can see I've selected WooCommerce. And I'm just going to go through this relatively quickly. And you're going to need to go ahead and set up or integrate your WooCommerce account or whatever your WooCommerce account. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to get everything connected and then we'll jump back in to this tutorial. All right, so once you've connected WooCommerce or whatever third-party tool that you want to hook up, you're going to go ahead and search for BDOW. Now, my screen's going to look a little bit different. 2.0 hasn't been released, at least at the time of recording this video. So you're going to search for whatever the most recent or most up-to-date version is. In this case, it's going to be 1.3. So that's what I'm going to select here. All right, so you're going to select records a social proof event as your action event here. And then you're going to come down here to account and you're going to need to connect your BDOW account. So you see this window appears and it's asking for an API key. Now, what you can do is you can just select integration settings here. And it's going to ask you to choose a site to connect. So if you have multiple sites in your BDOW account, you want to choose whatever site it is that you're trying to hook it up for. So I've gone ahead and done that. And then it's going to bring me to the integrations page. I'm going to scroll down the integrations page here, and I'm going to select what says Sumo API here. So I'm going to copy that to my clipboard. I'm going to come back to Zapier here, and I'm going to paste my API key here and select yes, continue to BDOW. All right, now I'm hooked up here. And so it should automatically select the account that I went ahead and set up. I'm gonna hit continue. And now I need to map fields. So I already connected WooCommerce, and so I should have some test data in there to select. So I'm just gonna hit / here, and then I'm gonna select first name so that it matches first name. Then for location, you don't have to add this information. If you don't add this information for location and you're not using the location variable, then it just won't appear. If you are using the location variable in your social proof pop-up, then it will just fall back to something like somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up. And then I need to select the event source. And again, this is why you need to actually create the BDOW social proof pop-up before you come over here and connect it in Zapier. Be sure that you've actually published the campaign so that it shows up in this list here. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is only going to show me my social proof campaign types. It's just going to filter my social proof campaign types. And I want to find that social proof campaign that's associated with my shop that I set up. And then I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to go ahead and test this step. Sure enough, it works. And then I can go ahead and publish. Now, again, keep in mind that it's only going to show data. It's only going to start showing a pop-up after somebody has actually made a purchase. Now remember, pop-ups are only going to start appearing for people who purchase since you set up your social proof campaign type. It's not going to pull in historical data. So that's it. That's how you create a social proof campaign type in BDOW. All right, that's it. That's how you add BDOW social proof pop-up right to your website. If you're interested in getting started with BDOW, you can use the code PROOF, and that will get you 20% off your first year of BDOW. Have a feature request, integration request, want to send us some feedback on this feature? Go ahead and do so at help@bdow.com. We hope to see you over there.